And welcome back to the Gadget Spot.
I don't feel welcome here anymore.
Hello.
It's your house.
It's your hair. I just pulled out some hair. That's all.
My hair got stuck in my headphones, and I asked for help, and Owen just pulled it out.
So he said help 3 times like a little kid, and I thought he was joking, and then all of a sudden I thought, he actually does need help, so I ripped it out of his hair.
Your parenting reflexes kicked in, and you're like, oh my gosh,
Save
my child is going to die.
Save the small person. Save the childlike person.
I'm kind of surprised you didn't flip him over your shoulder like a beanbag and carry him up the stairs.
I'll never get that hair back.
Should have burped him.
Ow! Ow! My hair! Ow!
Well, he said it like 3 times.
Guys! That's what it sounded like.
And then I was like, oh, he's actually being... Okay, I'm going to pull it out for him. I fixed the problem.
You've had enough kids that have lost teeth.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Look, just...
All right. This is the Gadget Spot, where today we make fun of Jarron. Last week was James's turn.
Every week is James's turn.
Oh,
are we turning the tides again?
my, how the tides.
James will fire back now. He's not the same guy he used to be.
Yeah.
My.
Hey, if you could come up with a valid insult, I will be gladly accepting of it.
Sometimes some people find you subpar.
Zing.
I mean, we'll put that one in the books, James, but I don't know if that's going to get you any points.
At least I made it into a book.
All right, we talk about tech gadgets and video games usually. So we're going to go ahead and introduce the panel now. Owen.
Hey there. My name's Owen. You can catch me on Twitter at TechNoan. I did play some games this week.
What?
Yeah,
Nice.
just not anything. I played a bunch of kid games. So
Less nice?
yeah, I mean we were just playing on. So I
Roblox?
broke. Yeah, gosh
Oh,
dang
really?
it! I no joke. I broke down and I played some Roblox, and it's the worst. It still is the worst. I don't understand it.
And yet you played it.
I did. I wanted to spend time with my kids, so I
okay.
sacrificed my sanity and mentality and my very, very weak inner ear to play those games.
Dad of
Owen,
the year, right
Owen, I
there.
have a life hack for you.
What's that?
I was playing Battlefront 2, and my son walks in. He's 4. He's like, "What are you doing, Dad?" And I'm like, "Oh crap, he caught me." And then brilliance just came to my mind. I said, "Robots. They're both robots. I'm shooting robots."
Oh yeah, my kids.
His kids are old enough that it doesn't matter.
My kids is
doesn't matter.
My kids have way surpassed that. They'd be like, "Are you stupid, Dad? Are you?" Those are.
What are Roblox? Anyway.
Roblox is a site. You should go check it out if you want to ruin your kids' lives and waste some time. But basically, anybody can create a game on there, is my understanding. I don't know, and but it's basically a bunch of simulations: dinosaur simulator, cherry simulator, rock simulator. I don't know.
Did you say cherry simulator?
Yeah, stupid simulators. You want to pretend to be a cherry growing on a tree?
Yeah.
There's probably a Roblox game for that.
Oh, cool.
Where you just sit there
I love it.
and waste your life.
I'll be so juicy and plump.
Yeah.
I'm already there, buddy.
There you go.
You had me. It's sitting there.
Go check it out. I spent about an hour and a half. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't very much time. I have it. It makes me really sick because I get really motion sick with.
Is it first person?
Most of them are first person. So, but yeah, I got on there and checked. I was messing around.
James is already signing up.
Signing up right now. I want to see what I'm missing out on.
You are missing out on quite a bit of wasted time.
Because I was already designing a little Gadget Spot RPG with RPG Maker, and some things I'm finding not super helpful.
How far did you get into that?
Actually, I almost made the whole first level. But you can't play it as one level. It has to be all 4.
Who are the characters?
Us. And then the main character, the main character is the listener. But all 4 of us are in the game.
Oh, the listeners get to control the.
Yeah. So Tony's
Tony's
the professor, and he's like, "Hey, you need to round up the other people because we need to record." And you go into each other's little area. So
Am I the bad guy?
no.
Oh, good.
People got to go get you. They got to rescue you from gluten.
Oh. I guess that's a little bit better.
Each of us have a weakness.
Speaking of that, Jarron, how are you doing?
Yeah, it's Jarron's turn.
Hi, I'm Jarron. You can find me on Twitter at Jarron. And I have been playing Metro Exodus.
Yeah.
How do you like it? On your computer?
Yeah, on my computer. The
Does it
graphics
have
are
ray
amazing.
tracing?
Yes, ray tracing. There was a moment. I'm in a desert right now. The sun was rising. A sunrise. I was thinking sunset. What's the opposite of a sunset?
Sunrise.
Yeah,
You nailed it.
Yeah, I don't like sunrises. Anyway, like the lighting was amazing. Everything was just like cast in red, and I go underneath like this big ship that's been rusted out, and I'm like, I wonder what this will look like without ray tracing on. I turn it off, and it was shocking how different it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like completely different.
Ray tracing's not a fad.
No.
Everybody, it's the next gen.
I mean, there are scenes where
the real
it'll
deal.
look very similar.
Sure.
If the sun is overhead.
That's
and-
because the video game graphic designers have spent decades to try and fake the ability of ray tracing.
Yeah.
So sometimes they get really close.
Sometimes they do, and other times it's so different. It's crazy how good it looks.
So now that you have this, what would be the next thing in video games that you want to see get propelled forward?
Well, more ray tracing, because right now you're limited to like either a global illumination or shadows or reflections.
What do you mean global illumination? What does that mean?
Illumination of the globe.
Oh,
Basically,
Just
so
general,
like the sun outside,
just general
right?
lighting.
it's like having points of light and then having that light bounce off surfaces accurately.
There we go. Good job, Tony.
Thanks.
So yeah, right now we're limited to one of those options. It'll be amazing when we can have all of them all at once
And running smoothly.
and running smoothly. So global illumination with ray trace shadows with reflections, it'll be awesome. Because right now the shadows in Metro, they're not great. They're not bad. They're not great.
They're all right.
Yeah.
It's crazy that Google is going to come out with that streaming thing that's going to give us ray tracing right out the box, right, guys? Right, guys? 4K, 60 frames per second.
No ray
Right,
tracing
guys?
there.
It'll
No
be
data cap.
It'll be 4K 60 in their server room. By the time it gets to you, it will not be 4K 60.
You know, I've heard some like interesting arguments against that on even like the feedback from when you hit the button with most fighting games. Like, how are you going to play it? Like, think about like playing Super Smash Brothers. You need that split second timing between hitting the A or B
and having them punch.
and then having them punch.
Yeah, it'll be fine for like first-person shooters without
Not
the
competitive
multiplayer.
ones.
Yeah, non-competitive first-person shooters and stuff like that. But other than that, we talked about this last time, but I don't think it's.
I still say show me what you got, but I'm not expecting anything, revolutionary.
Yep, there you go.
You been playing anything else?
Just I've tried to do Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but it's crashing constantly on me. So
Really?
yeah,
Huh. Must
Because
be that CPU.
no, they enabled ray tracing, and whenever it's on, it crashes. So
Oh.
yeah,
Bummer.
I know, bummer.
Hopefully they patch that.
because it looks great and runs great with ray tracing on. So oh well,
Cool.
that's it for me.
James?
Hey! Apparently, I am now a creator in what is this called? Roblox Studio. It almost looks like a bunch of Legos.
Yeah, it's very much blocky life, darling.
Cool.
Sounds
You can catch me
amazing.
on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm JDD Jensen. JDD is for ADD. I, as of last week, have downloaded Tweetbot, or 2 weeks ago, downloaded Tweetbot. I actually really like it. It's really nice.
Oh good.
Does it have a way to like skip up to the top of your timeline super quick?
Yeah, just click the timeline, the top timeline bar thing.
See, I tried doing that. I must have done
I'll
it wrong.
show you.
Is Twitter
Yeah.
still doing that token stuff where you can only have a certain amount of users on third-party applications?
Tweetbot is grandfathered in because they existed before they implemented that change,
Oh.
and so they can have unlimited.
Okay.
I'm glad that I didn't know
curious.
that before.
Yeah.
I would have doubted it. Outside of that, I'm just kind of hanging out right now, trying to figure out what to do creatively at home because I have no time. But with the exception of apparently I put 50 hours in the video game that I've been playing since last like
So
Wednesday
you
or
have
Thursday.
so you have lots of time?
Apparently,
It's that sweet, sweet hour or two right after they go to sleep when they're in their deepest sleep.
yeah, but apparently because of RimWorld, I've stretched out that what was supposed to be 3.5 hours to sometimes like 5-6 hours.
It's when the relationship starts to suffer.
No, she's sitting there watching TV. Well, I did this last Saturday. Rip out a quarter of my lawn at my house with
Finding-
a
did-
sod cutter.
Find any snakes?
Nope.
Ooh,
That's good.
dangerous.
What
man.
about-
That's
He did it in the
that's-
spring.
that's
the
where they-
snakes, the
that-
snakes are dormant.
That's what I'm saying. Ripping up sod, that's a great way to uncover a snake burrow.
What? No.
No, never mind, dude.
Actually,
You found a
yeah.
snake in your yard already, right?
Yeah, he did. So there's
You-
there's
you
got to
already-
be.
You already know it's contaminated with
Alright.
snakes.
You probably laid eggs.
Yeah, if you might find some snake.
How to identify snake holes in the ground. That's what he's looking at right now.
His face looks very disturbed. Anyway, continue with that sod pulling out. It's great fun.
Why are you moving sod?
A garden.
Yep. We want to do a ground level garden.
That's
We have.
I can get behind that.
It's a like 20 by 25 plot now that we're doing.
Do you have rocks in your yard? Snakes,
Oh, yeah, it's
snakes,
Springville.
Snakes like those too.
What?
Yep.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna tune you out for the next minute.
No, really, I have snakes living in my rocks. They're there. I can't get rid of them.
For real?
Yeah.
You're just okay with that?
I don't care.
They eat the bugs and the pests.
I've killed
That's
them
what-
like 4 times with my lawnmower.
I will admit, I did survive last week. I was in Florida all last week.
No boa constrictor sightings or anything like that.
I don't know about that. And I'm
Are
really
you afraid
glad
of
that-
alligators?
I am. What? They're dinosaurs, dude.
The snakes aren't.
I mean, come on. They're kinda. They're mistakes.
Are you
God
afraid
didn't
of-
mean to create
They're
them.
mistakes.
I think you meant to say Miss Snakes.
Oh.
God meant to put them in the ocean. That's what was supposed to happen. The
We
ocean
did.
is
They're
just
called
the
eels. We did that too.
Ugh.
Sea snakes.
You ever seen the eels in Mario 64? It's terrifying.
Yeah. Cool. So you've been playing RimWorld.
Yeah, RimWorld. I was about done with that game until I discovered the Steam Workshop that I've never ever used before.
Oh, that's the
Holy
modding,
moly.
right?
Yeah.
For modding.
There's so many good mods for that game. So many good like quality of life improvements. If you guys haven't played RimWorld and you're really into like the colony like sim game, it's definitely the way to go. I was really big into Prison Architect, and it's made with the same engine.
That explains it.
And except it's a little bit more, not a little bit, it's a lot bit more micromanagey.
Yeah, I'm out.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
No way.
Really? Okay, what's the closest to like a colony? Okay, like State of Decay.
Hated it.
Yeah, I hated that game.
Well, why would I want to play another one like it?
I don't know. I don't know why I brought it up as an example because it doesn't help my argument.
No, you
not
took his
even a
side and
little
then bashed yourself. It's good. Cool.
So the guy that almost takes my side is our host. His name is Tony.
Hey, State of Decay 2, do not recommend.
Nope. If you could play as one person and then delegate,
That'd
to
be
other
all right.
people, it'd be fine.
If you didn't have to micromanage your camp, it'd be a fun game.
Yeah, if you could just go back to your camp and build improvements, which would in turn enable you to progress as a character and as a colony.
Yeah, like level up your stuff, but
Yeah.
actually have it do good stuff for you.
And then it's also like a third-person shooter. Is it first or
It's third already.
Yeah. And then be a third-person shooter game. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Well, check me out on Twitter at QuadTTony, or every other week on the Gadget Spot, or every week on the Geek Show podcast. Gaming wise, I have also been playing Metro Exodus. I think I'm in about the same spot Jarron is.
Oh, the crazy spot with the spiders that terrified me.
Yeah, the
Ugh.
bunker in the desert. That was crazy. Let's see. So that's been a lot of fun. Not only is it beautiful and amazing to look at, it's also a lot of fun to play. Don't discount that part of it.
I
Quite,
won't.
quite good.
Indeed, it is. I don't like the story.
You don't? I do.
It's meh to me.
I love post-apocalyptic, weirdo stuff like that, though.
It's
Red-
I don't dislike the story.
Like Red Dead Redemption? Is that the same kind of thing?
No, that's old western, and
Oh.
it's boring.
It's
I
old
thought, I thought it was
Western,
post-apocalyptic.
I'd probably like it more if it was.
Oh, okay. You probably would.
I put a good 6 hours into Red Dead Redemption 2, and I can't get into it. I've
You're done?
tried. I've given it a shake.
Does it feel too much like real life?
Yeah, it feels too
You
much
gotta wake
like
up, you got to shave.
old western real life simulator is what it is. And for some people, they're into that, and that's cool. It's just not for me.
Do you feel like it's too much like real life to where you have to do things and you don't have enough like time to game?
There's a little bit of that, but there's also like it's a really big map, big world, and everything's really far apart.
Yeah.
And there's
I'm
not
out.
a very good fast travel system until you've already gone to the places you need to go.
Uh,
So you have to ride
Yeah.
your horse forever and ever to get to these places.
Good day, sir.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
I said good day.
I said good day.
Anyway, so yeah, Metro Exodus, and I also completed Far Cry New Dawn. I highly recommend that game. It is a lot of fun if you have any interest in Far Cry style games with open world RPG build up your character, modify your abilities and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun, and is also post-apocalyptic, just in a kind of a different way, more like overgrown. The Earth has reclaimed the area. Not like Metro Exodus, where the Earth has just given up and died.
Is it like in a happening point, like a sense?
A what?
A happening?
I didn't watch enough of The Happening, but it'd be more comparable to like The Last of Us.
Do you have a fern at your house, don't you?
No,
Oh. Do you have any plants at your house?
Yeah.
What do you got?
a cactus.
Then you've seen the happening.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that one's a lot of fun. It's also a really pretty game, but it doesn't have ray tracing. So yeah, there's that. And then I also always got to plug away at Destiny 2. Got to get my
Keep your hours up on
my
that.
hours up on that. Play with Uncle Squinky in some co-op multiplayer. All right. We got to thank our Patreon backers because they are the coolest.
Patreon is a way for you, dear listener, to donate to our show. We love all of our listeners, but if you're a Patreon subscriber, donator, we love you even more. You know, like the favorite kid that every parent admits to not having.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Patreon, if you donate to patreon.com/Gadget Spot, or is it the Gadget Spot?
Just Gadget Spot.
Gadget Spot. Dang it. I'm going to get this someday.
Almost.
If you donate $6 or more, we read your name on the show. So here we go. Big shout out and thank you to AJ Jasper, David Broshinsky, and Aaron Young. Thank you. And a new one, Josh Sitaway. Welcome.
Welcome, Josh.
It's
Yes.
Josh.
And unanimous user 556.
I like that.
You should definitely change your name to something fun.
I think that's a callback.
It's a reference, yeah.
Making fun of James. I love it.
Dang it.
Peter Santone or Santoni. One of these days, I'll find out.
Santonio.
Hardware, Adam Hecht, Ryan Baker, Aaron Faulkner. Sekiro is much harder than Bloodborne and Dark Souls.
I've heard that from everyone I know that plays it.
And what do you think of that, Joe Reedy? I'm curious. Do you still like it? Is it too hard? Adam Foote, Spencer Knowlton, Valentine. I can make Jarron say anything for $6. Ryan McQueen, Michael Beck, Jeffrey Kale, Roger Allen, Austin Beauregard, Brian Lee, Conrad Southworth.
Thank you
guys.
Thank you very much,
Big
Patreon
thanks.
backers. You are the best. All right, we got a couple of emails as well. So let's start off with Owen. Read us an email.
So this one's coming from Benjamin. We talked about WinRAR last time, if you recall.
Yes, Rinrar.
And there was like that exploit that's been there for 20 years, and people are finally like using it.
They're like, oh crap.
And anyway.
What the exploit that you can actually pay for it if you want to?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's a different exploit.
Darn it.
So he came up, he says this. Catching up, he says, the problem wasn't so much WinRAR itself, it was the .ace extension. Ace, as I understood it, was an independent library that was added to WinRAR. WinRAR never had the source for it, but at the time it wanted to support it, so they included it and compiled. They included and compiled the compiled version of it with the software. And then he says, "I'm with the panel though. 7-zip is better these days, and I'm sure you received many letters like this, so add it to the pile. But if it's part of WinRAR."
And if they put it in
and if they compiled it,
yeah.
then it is WinRAR. It's not the Ace extension. Those jokers may have put in bad code, and WinRAR may have made
it's
horrible mistakes. But
WinRAR's fault for not knowing what the code is.
But so it was WinRAR itself.
Especially since it's been there for 20 years.
This is going to be a stupid question, but WinRAR isn't made by the same people that made Winterstat, is it?
No,
I don't think so.
not at all. I might
You
eat
just
those
said
words.
no. You didn't have to say not at all.
I
No, you
regret.
idiot. Of course not.
I immediately regret saying that because
fool.
some internet troll is going to be like, well, "I'm going to find one person that's connected to the two," and be like, "Well, actually,
Trevor.
not at
the
all is not
intern-
actually correct." But he goes on. He sent us another one right after, right? Yeah, pretty close. And it came in as 2 emails. I don't know why, but we were talking about what the features of like zipping things are. James was asking, like, besides compression. And there was one thing that we kind of forgot. He says, the odd usefulness of zipping things, they break it into smaller chunks. So one of the things that's great about zipping files is you can actually chunk them out.
Mm-hmm.
And they come, and that lets them so you can break a 4 gig file into as many as you want,
Right.
smaller pieces. And they all maintain their continuity so that when you have them all, you unzip one file and you get the complete file back.
So it's like you make them into like a jigsaw puzzle and you shake them apart.
Kind of like that's kind of like how torrents work. Too.
Yeah. This one more you can send it in pieces that compile back together at the end. And WinRAR was great for that because back in the day when WinRAR was in its heyday, torrenting was just getting started. And you couldn't create, like, FAT32 was still the default, was one of the default file standards.
Uh-huh.
And so you can't have files larger than 4 gigs.
Right. Yeah.
And so they had to break it up. And when you were doing really large downloads of like an ISO or some other huge download, they would break it up. That made it easier to move around and get to a bigger disk after you moved it or whatever. And you could unzip it and it'll come back as one piece. So
Nice.
anyway.
Your butt's covered. Winterstat was developed by 2 guys, Bernard Seifert and Oliver Schneider.
Not related to
Sorry, that was Winterstadt. Winterstadt is those two. And
not related to WinRAR.
No, WinRAR is Eugene Rochel.
Not at all.
Doesn't seem like it.
Okay,
Not at all.
My statement stands, James.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
All right, we got a message from Marine Zahid. He says, we brought 2 bracelets from Deraz. When we received these, are not working. Even on from that time, please return these bracelets. Thank you.
I feel like that's not for us.
Oh, all right. It's that other Gadget Spot.
It might be someone else.
Oh, that came to our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Thanks for following us there.
Okay, we got a message from Lang. Hey, Lang. He says, when I started listening, I felt like the world trying to listen to Lee George Cade when he talks about Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. So for background there, when Lee George Cade on the Geek Show podcast talks about Star Wars, he goes way out in the weeds because he knows more about Star Wars than anyone I guarantee anyone I've ever met.
Feels like I would like him.
Oh, yeah. You guys get along well talking about Star Wars.
Yeah, he sounds like he knows a lot more than me. He knows his stuff, and there's no way I could keep up. That being said, you have geeked out about bezels. Still don't know why, but that's okay.
Bezels are important.
They are. Who wants bezels? It's just dead space on the device you're looking at.
Yeah.
Anyway, my talking point / question is, in our day and age, technology has advanced everything. But can you still consider design, construction, or even a drawing done with technology with the same level of criticism as you would something done by hand? Love you guys. I thought of this while checking out one of my favorite artists. Please check him out at Chasing Artwork, one word. Lang.
I want to say there was the same argument when people started painting on canvas, and a lot of people were like, you can't compare them to those cave drawings. Cave drawings are historical. Never mind, that joke didn't work. Just move on. Please move on.
Did you like how we all let it fall though? Like just like
nobody
like,
stepped in.
Have you ever heard a kid fall and slap the
Gilligan
pavement?
so much more now. You guys just are drifting off.
So,
hey, just a heads up. It turns out that Winterstadt and WinRAR were both founded by Adam Chirianovsky back in 1996.
False.
Where are you getting this
He just
from?
made up a Wikipedia page on his own.
Yeah, I just wanted you to feel bad. That also failed. Just move on. I've been
So,
looking at
I think-
snakes on the internet.
I think what Aaron is trying to say, does digital artwork hold up to the scrutiny of analog style artwork where you actually put the pencil to the page or the brush to the canvas? Because the difference being with digital art, if I'm interpreting this correctly, there's a lot of tools and things that can do pieces of the picture for you. Like if you want to draw a perfect circle, there's a tool in Photoshop that will just draw a perfect circle for you versus having to do it by hand.
Well, just like anything else, art's subjective. Like I'm going to
That's
see
also true.
like an abstract painting, and I'm going to see something different than Owen sees it, than Jarron sees it. But that being said, I'm not sure if you've seen any of the 3D drawings that they've done with the Vive or the Oculus.
Those
I
are
can't
pretty
remember.
cool.
It's like the glowing whatevers. Like some of them are beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, if we relate this to video games, there's video games from yonder past that still hold up and still look good today. And it's all because of the art direction. And then there's video games that look like crap, even though back in the day we thought, oh, that looks pretty good.
That's true.
Like Ocarina of Time. The first time you see Hyrule Field, so big. And I just remember as a little kid just thinking holy moly, I've never seen anything to the scale as the day and night.
My example that comes to my mind is Donkey Kong Country. Back in the day, I'm like, this game looks so good, but looking at it today, it looks like crap.
It's pretty mushy.
Yeah, it has it's fake CGI, right? And it just doesn't look good. But there's other hand-drawn games from back in the time, like Pitfall and Aladdin.
Yeah,
they look good today.
They still hold up.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, when you see somebody draw a perfect circle, with their hand, that's the skill level.
Yeah.
And anytime I've seen James do one of his videos where he does a time lapse of the whole thing, of the whole artwork, the whole process from beginning to end, I'm always like, no, that's art, because the skill level there.
I'm gonna write that down that you said that.
The skill level is just so amazing. If you're looking to say that is the digital art replacing kind of the old art, I think it all has its place skill level wise. It still takes an immense amount of skill to do.
So you think
both.
that the disconnect would be people not understanding the types of skills it takes
Behind
to
it,
do
for
the
sure.
digital art?
For sure. Somebody
versus
sees a
the
picture and they just go, oh, they just snapped a pic. Everybody has a cell phone nowadays.
Yeah.
And they snap a picture of a flower and they go, wow, I'm as good as any as any, wow, that
Any National Geographic photographer.
right? When they don't understand all the work that goes behind that, like the lighting, the everything. I mean, there's so many small things you do.
I agree.
That it can kind of feel like it cheapens it because it's so not everybody can sit down with a charcoal and do like a portrait because that's almost a talent that people have.
Some oil-based paintings are so good that I have a hard time telling
from
them
picture.
From
even
pictures.
I've even seen that with color pencil. Like the mediums are just advancing. I've seen people like the mediums that art is being created in now is just kind of expanding.
And it doesn't necessarily need to be photorealistic either.
Well, that's what I was going to say. In one of the like 2 art classes I ever took, I remember reading that was the deal with Picasso was he had basically perfected his photorealistic art at such a young age that he decided, what am I doing? Especially, I think. Maybe I hope I'm not saying this wrong or getting this wrong, but he was also around at the time when like photography was becoming big, and you could just take a picture of a still life.
Can you imagine how pissed you would be?
You spend dozens of hours painting something, and someone can just take a picture of it. And so he went in the direction of the impressionist or whatever it is. I forget what his art movement was called, but
video games that eschewed realism, like from the early 2000s, I think still look really good today. Like Okami, is that the name of the game?
Yep.
And then Wind Waker, I still think looks good today.
Oh, Wind Waker, yeah, Wind Waker's awesome.
And so like,
well, prime examples of what you were saying, like back in the Super Nintendo days or even the NES days, like Super Mario Brothers 3, it still looks good.
And for me, I don't know if you guys have a favorite artist out there, but mine's James Christensen. He did a lot of like fairy tale type
fantasy art.
Mm-hmm. And if you guys get a free second or you got access to Google really quick, pause this and go check out James Christensen. He's actually not with us anymore, but
where'd he go?
He died.
Oh,
yeah,
Tony.
And
insensitive.
His artwork is amazing.
My favorite artist is, I guess you should say, like classic style art with paper. Actually, no,
Bob Ross.
He still uses. No, his name's Alex Ross, and he does art for comic
Bob's
books.
brother.
I was 50%
You were 50%
right.
there.
Wow.
He paints comic books, and
What did you say his name was? Alex Ross?
Alex Ross. He's the guy that painted all the comics for Kingdom Come.
Oh yeah, look at that.
And like he's just really good. But I don't know how much digital stuff he does. He's old school. He does mostly watercolor.
That's the thing, though, is, I mean, it just depends. Like, James Christensen did a bunch of, like, oil, and, it looks like Alex Ross does mainly, like, what is this, colored pencil that he's doing it with right there?
I think he does watercolor mostly. He might do some oil, too, but
it's just like, I almost pick as much out of, like, looking at this, I think he's an amazing, but I've read Kingdom Come, and I got just as much out of the Invincible series as I did.
Right. That's Ryan Otley,
Kingdom
and
Come.
he's one of my favorite artists, too. Ryan Otley's awesome.
But where would you rank him as far as, like, the art style? I mean, really, you can't really do that, I guess, because it's subjective. But
right,
like,
and it's super different art styles.
Yeah.
I love Bruce Timm. And Bruce Timm's art is really neat, and his is super simple, very clean lines. He's a guy that started Batman the Animated Series.
Oh,
and he's basically, and has been for a long time, over all of the DC animated movies.
But that being said, at some point in time, if the DC universe wanted to go the direction of the Batman Arkham series as far as art direction,
that'd be cool.
Ooh.
All right, we're getting way sidetracked.
We got one more email.
Yes.
James, you're going to read that, or do you want us to?
Yeah, I wanted to see who the artist was for the Batman Batman. It's the storyline where he retires and he comes back, and there's the girl Robin.
Dark
It's
Knight
basically.
Returns?
You're talking about Dark Knight.
Is it Dark Knight?
No, hold on. It's
You know which one I'm talking about, right?
the second one's called The Dark Knight Strikes Again, I think, but the first one was just
It's the Bible of Batman, basically.
yeah. It's Frank Miller is the guy you're thinking of.
Oh
Dark
my
Knight
gosh,
Returns?
that is not.
Might just be
That
called
is
Dark
not
Knight
great
Returns.
art style. All right, so we got another email from Austin Beauregard. He took a minute out of his perfect life
And wrote us
to
an
write
email.
us an email.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Greetings, Gadget Spot gentlemen.
Hello.
I am curious as to your favorite different tech/gaming YouTubers. I know Tony has mentioned Linus Tech Tips and Digital Foundry a couple of times, but I wondered if there were any more obscure or lesser known channels that you all enjoy. Even though nobody probably cares, I would say that my favorite is probably MKBHD.
We don't care.
What's that?
Ouch.
Just kidding.
I like MKBHD.
He said it.
I could watch the man film anything. I just watched this video and thought of James, and he would enjoy it. I'll include this video in the show notes that he link to it in this email. To me, it really shows the passion he has for tech and film, and how over the top he goes with something that could be done very simply.
Who's the guy that does
video
this?
game channel is Video Game Donkey.
Video Game Donkey's hilarious.
Also, you can't forget to mention your favorite YouTube channel. It's awesome getting the opportunity to see you stream live sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do that sometimes.
You said doo-doo. Back in the day, mine
who's the
was-
guy that does MKBHD?
So
What's his name?
Marcus Brownlee.
Oh, yeah. I recognize him. I haven't watched. He has him up on James's thing. I haven't watched much of his stuff, but I do recognize him.
I don't subscribe to him, but I watch his stuff frequently.
He's been one of those.
He's really good.
He's been one of those tech YouTubers that I've always been like, I should watch some of his stuff, but I never got around to
What
it.
I like about him is he really gives the underdogs a chance.
Oh, really?
A fair shake, yeah. So he really talks about like the OnePlus series and like
Oh, cool.
Huawei phones, which aren't very popular in the U.S.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has a real passion for tech, and you can really tell.
What's kind of interesting is what he's talking about overkill is the video that Austin included. You can see he's using sky panels for lighting, and if you know anything about like lighting, those are really, really expensive lighting panels. And then he's shooting primarily on a red camera, which,
An 8K?
well, I mean, arguably, it's an amazing camera, but I mean, for YouTube, that is definitely like overkill, especially when you have this kind of shot that he's shooting on, that you don't need to crop very much out of the image. And as far as like the passion and background, so some of these shots that he's shooting on, I would be very surprised if he wasn't using an Edelkrone slider, which I think some of the shots he gets are gorgeous, but I'm going to have to watch this guy more. So I just subscribed to him, and I'm going to check him out some more. So, and as far as like the YouTuber gamers that I like to watch, I would say like back in the day when I would watch a lot of StarCraft, it was HCS Gasky.
Is he still around?
Not as far as I know.
Oh, yeah. Bummer. Lesser knowns that I enjoy. They're not even that lesser known. I just haven't really mentioned them, but I'm a big fan of Unbox Therapy. Unbox Therapy is usually pretty
What do
interesting.
you get out of unboxing videos
Well, he does.
other than what's in the box?
He just has a fun style. I get it. Good joke.
Thank you.
He has a fun style when he does it, and his production values also come a long way in the years that I've been watching. He has his own studio now, and like a team of like 3 or 4 guys that work with him to make it look real good. I really enjoy his because he gets a lot of random, just weird like tech, and he also covers a lot of all the mainstream stuff too. So like whenever Samsung has an event, he usually gets like a prototype. He's big enough that he gets like developer versions of the phones to look at the day of the event a lot of the time and things like that. So he's really good. Gaming, I love Donkey as well. This is kind of gaming / hardware. It's called Gamers Nexus. Gamers Nexus is super thorough. They get way out in the weeds a lot with hardware.
NVIDIA haters.
They seem more like they're everyone haters though. Like I feel like they just have a chip on their shoulder in general for technology, even though that's what they talk about all the time and specialize in. And then I'm also a big fan of Jerry Rig Everything. He does his torture tests on all the new phones and things like that.
I kind of rely on him now to like see what like how to break something.
Yeah. Well, and he goes as far as like he breaks them down and he can tell you like what they use as far as their materials inside the phone.
It's
and
hard to
things like
watch
that.
sometimes.
It's painful.
Sometimes it's really hard to watch him get out his scoring tool.
Yeah.
And just go to town on it.
He
but-
tells you what level of hardness the screens are on the Mohs scale of hardness.
Yeah.
You gotta admit, if you had a job like that where you got to break like stuff, do you think you could do it?
It'd be hard. I think I could for the science of it because he makes it feel really like kind of, scientific when he does it. And then one that just barely hit 1 million subscribers the other day. I enjoy his videos as well. It's Paul's Hardware, and he just does PC hardware. He's kind of soft-spoken and just like really meticulous on his details and things like that. I enjoy his stuff as well. And last one is a gamer. I used to watch him a lot, but he does gaming and what's like Eastern Bloc culture.
What does that even? What are the
Russia,
sequence of words mean?
Russia, Ukraine, Estonia, that kind of stuff. His name is Life. His video or his channel is called Life of Boris.
Oh,
and he's
no, he's probably not the Steam Press guy.
No, he does gaming videos and like Russian cooking videos, and he's pretty funny.
I love Digital Foundry. I find them to be...
They're the tops.
Yeah, exactly.
If you ask me, they're the best.
They're very unbiased, and they have such a love for graphics technology, and it's great.
It's one of those things where when I got into them, I used to think I really loved graphics, and then I watched their videos, and I'm like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
For as much as you guys have talked about Digital Foundry, they only have 727,000 subscribers. I would have thought they would have been over 1 million.
You didn't finish Austin's email.
We didn't?
Oh, we didn't?
He says, Beauregard.
Beauregard.
Sorry for anyone who doesn't enjoy hearing my name yelled.
Did you have any more, Jarron, or
No, that's it.
just going to mention Digital Foundry?
That's it for me. Yeah.
Oh, look, there was more down there. Beauregard. Sorry for anyone. Okay.
Yeah, scroll down.
I got 4. So Jerry Rig Everything's been one that I follow pretty recently, but
he's a Utah guy, by the way.
Mark Rober.
He's
the guy that did the glitter bomb. He used to.
Oh, yeah. Talk about over-engineering.
Yeah,
the captain of over-engineering.
He is, and he is a NASA engineer and turned YouTuber, I guess. But so I got that one. Beyond the Press is one that I love to watch.
Classic.
Right?
Yeah.
And then
I didn't mention that one because it's not really gaming or tech related, but I watch all their videos.
And then another one's called Smarter Every Day, which is a cool little like just weird scientific facts, and he'll do a lot of stuff in slow-mo cameras. I love watching stuff like how it happens in slow-mo, and they do a lot of like scientific stuff. So.
Yeah, he's really good. You know who we didn't mention too is Boogie.
Yeah,
for video game news.
That's right.
He does like 3 or 4 video game news videos a week.
Didn't he bring back what's his name for a minute? His character Francis, and then he got slapped down by the internet. Didn't that go badly for him?
Why do people want Francis to go away?
Because Francis is not PC anymore.
It's not very PC. But the biggest problem that Francis has is it tanks his ad revenue. He admitted it in one of his videos in the last couple days. The problem with Francis is he'll get more views with a Francis video than a lot of his other videos, but he'll make 1/4 the money off of it.
Oh,
and so
how much money do you think he makes? Like a year?
I have no idea.
They're making a lot. It's a lot.
I'm sure he's making good money. I don't think he's making like astronomical numbers or anything like that.
There's a kid that pulled in like $2 million just opening toys on YouTube.
I've heard about those kid toy unboxing videos.
That's crazy. Also, like The Verge, don't go to them for PC related stuff because they don't know anything about that. But as far as like phones and TV stuff,
they have a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
they
do.
That's interesting.
But they're more mainstream, so don't go to them for like detailed. But they have pretty good videos.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, we got to get to some of the topics of the show now.
Yeah, we should. Okay, thanks for your emails, folks. We appreciate it. Quick PSA as we roll into the episode with the new stuff. Warcraft 1 and 2 are available on GOG.com, which is really weird that Blizzard is doing this now. They've teamed up with Good Old Games for, what was the first one? Diablo 1. Yeah. And now Warcraft 1 and 2.
Oh, the non-mobile version of Diablo?
I'm tempted to buy those because I played Warcraft 1 and 2 growing up. That was my first foray into RTS.
I can't believe they're reselling them though. Like it just.
How much are they selling them for?
Super cheap. Like I think like $5 and $7.
But like, have they gone back in to retool it at all?
Yeah. It's been updated so it works good on Windows 10.
I mean, yeah, it's the same game. They didn't update graphics.
No, they didn't update the graphics. They just made it run good on modern systems.
Oh, but none of the gameplay or anything has changed.
It's all the same. You got to remember though, those games came out like what 20 years ago.
Early 90s.
It's just playing on our nostalgia.
Oh, it is 100%.
And I'm still going to think about doing it. I know.
I love those games.
Where did you say you can pick them up at?
GOG.com.
Warcraft 1 was kind of a slog, but Warcraft 2 is really good.
I'm probably going to pick up Diablo 1 at some point just because I never played that.
I want them to redo the old StarCrafts. That'd be great.
Why is this on GOG.com?
Well, they already did that. They redid StarCraft on Battle.net.
Oh, that's right.
It's on Blizzard's platform.
Even the expansion? I need that, too.
I want to say yes, but I'm
they
not
probably
100%.
did.
Heroes of Might and Magic.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of this game in forever.
All right. Okay, so there's been a lot of Disney news, actually.
Great
Ew.
Disney
Over
news.
the last week.
I don't know, man.
No, I'm excited.
I don't
Jarron, tell
know.
us about the Disney news.
So, in a nutshell, Disney pretty much said, this is how you do a presentation, Apple.
Ouch.
Yeah, so they announced Disney Plus. It will be coming out this fall. And unlike Apple, they actually announced content. And it looks really good.
Indeed.
It launches November 12th. And they actually gave a price, unlike Apple.
$6.99.
It's cheap.
$6.99.
They're doing it to directly compete with Netflix.
And Hulu. Well, I guess they already own 2/3 of Hulu.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so they're complete. Yeah, Netflix. I think most people will still hold on to their Netflix subscription. But if I had to choose between one or the other, I would go with Disney Plus personally.
I was blown away when I saw the price.
Yeah,
I thought for
$7.
sure it'd be like $15-20.
And unlike Netflix, who upcharges you if you want 4K HDR, 4K HDR is included at the $7 price from what they have announced so far. It'll have every single season of The Simpsons.
Yeah, because Disney owns Fox now.
Holy crap.
It's great.
Do they have enough server space to
Seriously.
have all of The Simpsons?
So Simpsons World, I guess, will go away. That's right now on the FX app.
FXX app.
FX Now or whatever. So that'll be rolled into Disney Plus. They'll have their whole back catalog of Disney Channel cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
So like DuckTales, the old classic stuff like that.
Woo.
The old DuckTales as well as the new DuckTales?
I'm not sure about the new DuckTales, but they mentioned the old DuckTales. Of course, they'll have all their Disney vaulted movies within the next year, they say. And of course, the exclusives, which look awesome.
Which is The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian. So they showed that off at the Star Wars celebration. And I saw a bootleg trailer of that on YouTube. It looks so cool.
The Kenobi.
No.
Dang it.
No.
I can't. I'm trying to will it into existence.
Not right. And then they have the Rogue One spin-off show as well, and a bunch of Marvel MCU shows.
Yeah, there's like 3
Winter
or 4
Soldier
of
and
them.
the Falcon.
Yep. WandaVision, which is
Wanda Sykes.
no
Where they
Scarlet Witch and Vision.
Oh.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
And there's a Loki show.
Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and their What If series.
Oh, and the What If series. Yeah.
Oh, cool. What's the What If series?
It's so
It's like What If Loki won?
yeah, basically back in the day, Marvel had a line of comics called What If, and it was basically twists on the stories where big events that went a different way. What if Flash Thompson was bit by the radioactive spider instead of Peter Parker?
Oh, cool.
Stuff like that.
My question with that is do you think they're going to actually tackle anything big with Marvel?
No.
Oh, darn it.
Oh, wait. Yes, I thought you were saying with the What If. They did announce that they're gonna all of the stuff that's happening in the exclusive Marvel stuff is directly affected by and will affect the movie universe.
Are you sure? Because they said that about S.H.I.E.L.D.
Unlike Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, unlike Agents of
and
S.H.I.E.L.D. Exactly.
the Netflix series in the beginning.
Think about it. They're doing. They didn't announce it at in the same thing, but they also announced a Hawkeye show. I mean, you're taking characters straight from the movie, played by the same actors, so it's going to affect the actual Marvel universe.
So it's like you get to watch some dude learn how to shoot a bow.
Maybe.
Go.
They'll also have National Geographic content, a brand new show called The World According to Jeff Goldblum. And I will watch anything with Jeff Goldblum in it.
Yes, you will.
They'll have exclusive movies like a live-action Lady and the Tramp, meh, and then Monsters Inc. shows and stuff
We
like that.
need to start
And the Monsters Inc. show is going to have the OG voice actors too.
Cool.
I get what
From
people
what I
are
read.
saying because a lot of people are saying this about the Lion King. Can we need to stop referring to that as the live action Lion
Yeah,
King?
it's CG.
Because it's all CG. It's animated.
It's just a different type of animation. Yep.
Yeah.
So they are really coming out swinging, and I'm very excited. And everyone I've talked to about it has said that they will subscribe.
Oh, I'm already
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
I
it's
don't
$7 a
know.
month, or you can get the full year for $70. So it'd be
That's
even
such a
cheaper.
good
Did
deal.
they say
2
anything
months
about
are free.
any other peripheral things that Disney's going to do? It seems like everybody's getting into the streaming music business. Is Disney doing anything with that?
Not that I'm aware
Doing
of.
don't-
anything
they
with
don't have
Radio
music.
Disney?
I don't think they have any.
Wait, in the app, is it going to have all the original Disney Channel movies?
Yeah. I
What?
think so. Yeah, they said their Disney Channel back catalog.
It sounds
so
like
tell-
it's going to be a lot like the DC Universe app, with all the DC stuff.
Which, by the way, I've actually used.
It's great.
And, the fact that they're not upcharging for 4K HDR is awesome. And it's only $7 a month, less than that if you pay for a year.
I guarantee
it's
in like
awesome.
3
When do you think
years
they're
gonna?
gonna? Yeah, when are they gonna?
I'm
up
sure
their
they'll
price?
start raising the price a few years down
Because this
the
is
road.
kind of
They
their
wanna get you
entry level.
addicted.
This is their entry level. They want to get your kids addicted.
They do.
Well,
And
by
not a-
then Netflix's price will be even higher too, so it'll probably be cheaper than Netflix.
Yeah, it'll still look cheaper, and they're going for a slam dunk on number of users. That's what they want. They want to sign up as many people as they can, and they're going to make money just on the sheer volume of users they get signed up.
They'll also have a new Clone Wars season, so that they have a lot of content.
Ooh, the Clone Wars one. That was a good show.
Yeah.
That cartoon.
That was a show that went completely under my radar until I finally turned it on like 3 or 4 years ago, and I started watching it. Holy moly!
I never got into that
What
one.
about Rebels? Is Rebels any good?
I'm not a fan of
I
Dave
haven't heard
Dave
of-
Filoni.
Yeah.
Is that a writer on?
He's the creator of Clone Wars and Rebels and Star Wars Resistance.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Question: what do you think the app's going to look like? Do you think it's just going to be a Mickey Mouse face with a play button?
It doesn't let you choose what you want to play.
It'll have 2 modes. It'll have adult
random.
and kid. It'll have.
I'm sure.
It'll have adult and kid mode.
I linked to it in the show notes. It looks a lot like Netflix. But
how do you differentiate yourself from
Yeah.
a streaming app? Netflix looks a lot like Hulu, or vice versa. You know, and
Netflix is-
Amazon Prime looks a lot like those two as well.
Netflix has an N. This guy.
Yeah.
Let me
Also announced this week, Star Wars: The Fallen Order.
Oh yeah, this is everything I've wanted in my life. As long
aside
as
from your family.
what?
What?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those guys too.
Everything outside of my family that I want in my life is a Star Wars game that's kind of like Jedi Knight but modern, and this sounds like it's going to be that.
Yes, it does.
And
what's been your favorite Star Wars game so far?
Jedi Knight?
Cool.
Yeah,
That is one of the right answers.
that is the right answer.
Wait, Jedi Knight. Is that the one where or are you playing as what's his name?
Kyle Katarn?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my favorite's Jedi Academy.
Yeah, I know, but you're wrong. That's all right.
I mean, I'm not.
so-
That's the thing.
This game, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, kind of a mouthful. It'll launch November 15th. It's made by Respawn, who made Titanfall, Titanfall 2, Apex Legends, all excellent games.
Yep.
Nice.
The interesting thing about that, though, is Respawn's pedigree is multiplayer, with one caveat of the really good
Titanfall 2
single player
which is
campaign in
amazing.
Titanfall 2. It's excellent.
Yeah.
But this is just single player only.
So
the
this
Star
is
Wars game.
This is published by EA, and it's weird because one, they're using Unreal Engine.
Which I am so happy for
Yes.
after finally reading that huge article about what happened with Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda, basically.
With Frostbite.
With the Frostbite engine, which I used to sing the praises of the Frostbite engine, and
Well,
I will continue to.
As long as DICE does it, it's
because
great.
DICE knows how their engine works because they developed it from scratch in-house, but everyone else that's tried to use it has had such a hard time making it work.
So I don't know if Respawn just gets a pass and all the other subs don't because they haven't used Frostbite for any of the
Anything.
Titanfall stuff
Yeah.
or this.
All the Titanfall and Apex Legends that uses a Source 2 engine. No, Source 1. It's super modified Source engine.
Yeah, and another thing, their VP, EA's VP years ago was famous for saying how they'll never do a single player game
Yeah, right.
without an online
Aren't they
component.
saying single player is dead?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Basically did.
But Respawn is putting out a single player game and they're bragging no microtransactions. It's a self-contained story, like all these anti-EA stuff.
Yeah.
And the EA Star Wars Twitter account is like saying no microtransactions, no EA type stuff, even though, they're EA.
It's them.
But I'm super excited. So the main character's name is Cal Kestis.
Mm-hmm.
But he's
Sounds very Star Wars.
Yeah, he's a Jedi that survives. He's a Padawan that survives Order 66 and Revenge of the Sith. And
He's played by Cameron Monaghan, which is a really good actor from Shameless and Gotham. Don't hold that against him. He's really good in Gotham, from what I understand.
Oh, he's the redhead.
Yeah, he's the guy that is becoming the Joker, basically.
But you're a Jedi with a lightsaber. You'll have Force powers, and it looks awesome.
It looks
What
really,
did you think
really
about
good.
the other Star Wars game where you play as the bad guy?
The Force Unleashed.
Yeah, what did you think of those?
That's my favorite, the Force Unleashed one. I really liked that. Well, no, I take it back. That's my second favorite. My first favorite is Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I haven't still played those yet.
I've tried to play Knights of the Old Republic several times. Is there like a tipping point where it gets good?
It's about 5 hours in.
I didn't like the implementation of force powers in The Force Unleashed.
Oh,
I really liked him in Jedi Knight.
Well,
so
see,
I hope they
that's where I differ. Is
lean towards that.
I didn't play Jedi Knight because it came out on PC back when I didn't have a gaming PC.
See,
so I never got into that one.
The fighting in Jedi Knight, and it's very, very similar in Jedi Academy, is like something that they should have continued on with video games.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, like the lightsaber battles are great. The force powers are great.
You feel like you're not overpowered when you're using the Force. Like somebody, like if you force push somebody, they can actually kind of like block it and then actually continue to fight you.
I think that's what I liked about the Force Unleashed, though, is by the time you're halfway through that game, you're just a wrecking ball.
Oh, you're God mode, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, so
Well, cool. I'm excited for that game.
look for that November 15th.
That also surprised me is that it's coming out this year.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
that's going to
Great.
ruin so many people's Thanksgivings.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hope EA is not pressuring them on a release date.
If they need to delay it, delay it.
I'm
It's
not,
okay.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised they don't wait for a Black Friday push on that to try and drive sales.
Oh, that basically is a Black Friday push coming out the 2 weeks before
Oh, yeah.
Come on,
Thanksgiving.
Owen, it's Black Friday.
It's the same thing.
Jeez. Come on.
But yeah. Okay. Let's see. What is this here, Owen? Thanks, Jarron. I still haven't read the freaking manual.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
now I have.
yeah. Jarron posted a cool thing in our Slack channel that I was reading. It was about the Pixel phones.
Oh yeah.
You can get so Huawei. So I had an XS6P. Let me give some context. I had an XS6P. Love that phone, but it had issues, battery issues to be specific, but there were many others beyond that. One of the main ones is the battery got too cold. Like I was just out in my garage. I had 80% battery. The battery got too cold. Click, off goes the phone. It would lose track of where the battery was at in the charge cycle. So if your battery said you were at 80% or 100%, you were actually close to 83 or 85%. So at 13%, battery phone shuts off.
Poops out.
When I first got into Reddit, one of the very first things I ever read was this Reddit article about how to get a free Pixel.
Oh, that's right.
You remember I did it.
You were able to trade them.
So I had a bit of an issue because I had already ripped into my phone and replaced the battery, which kind of voided me from being
eligible. But
I went for it anyway.
Yeah.
I traded in for the Pixel.
And it worked.
And it worked. I've loved my Pixel. I've had it for almost 3 years and 2 years. 2 years.
A little over 2.
Yeah, a little over 2 years, and it's been great. But now there's a class action lawsuit out there. So when I first tried to get support, I called Huawei, and they're like, "Sorry, it's a Google problem." When I called Google, they were like, "Sorry, it's a Huawei problem."
Jeez.
And then eventually Google started kind of to protect their name and whatever. They started handing out Pixel phones. You just had to have the right verbiage through the chat support, and all of a sudden they came back to me. "Good news, sir. My manager has approved you to get a Pixel." Ha! Smiley face emoji, and here I am. But now there's a class action lawsuit. Had I waited,
waited 2 years.
yeah, had I waited. So I told my buddy he got his phone based on how much I like my Nexus, and he got the same phone. It's been doing the same thing, but he just kind of whatever.
Just deals with it.
Just deals with it.
Wow,
And he can
he
now
has
you
more
can
patience.
get seriously, but now you can get $400.
You got the better deal.
Yeah, I did. I've had way better.
That's true.
I've had way better time with the Pixel XL. Just the phone itself has just been amazing. I mean, it's older now, but I'm waiting for the Pixel 4. But even
Better
now,
start saving your schmeckles. Those things are expensive.
I know.
Schmeckles.
Or hope for another class action lawsuit. But
Come on,
but
baby.
Jarron sent this link to the
Roll them
Yeah,
dice.
I need another class action lawsuit. But so Jarron sent this article where even if you did the trade, they actually note it in the class action lawsuit. You get $10. So if you did go through the trade and get the Pixel XL or Pixel phone like I did, you still get to go claim $10.
Ta-da!
Here's the problem.
Uh-oh.
I followed the links through the Engadget link that Jarron sent, and first they hyperlink their words. That's how they link out to their stuff. They don't say, "Hey, click here." They hyperlink the words.
Kind of annoying.
It's really annoying, and it had 3 web pages later. It takes you to a blank long form web page to fill out to join the lawsuit.
Now, when you say blank,
Blank
are
is
you
in
swearing?
nothing. Blank is in you have to enter all this data. And for me at that point, $10 became very not worth it. And I was like, I'll just buy my lunch.
I've been there. Yeah.
And I was like, no, thank you. But for my buddy, for $400,
well, that's different.
and he's thinking about maybe upgrading the Pixel 3. You know,
Yeah.
the kind of the
When are they going to start payout on that, though?
when the lawsuit's completed, is what they
so
said.
2
but
years down the road.
could be, yeah. But you get $400 if you still holding on to a Nexus 6P or Nexus 6. I think the 6. Did they have it?
Man, at that point, just buy a new phone and keep the 6P.
Right.
You know?
So anyway, yeah, just take it for what it's worth. But yeah, it's cool. You can go fill out the long form. Blank. It's blank. It's just totally a pain in the butt.
Yep. All right. So going along with pain in the butts, tell us why Microsoft is being a giant pain in the butt.
Oh, so have any of you upgraded to the 1809?
I did.
Did you like it?
It's okay.
It's been super buggy for a lot of people.
Well, I only upgraded it like a month ago.
Now, define buggy. What are people seeing?
It's locked out network. Like it's failed to. It doesn't fully.
Oh, I have done that, and
Yeah.
it did do that at my work. I couldn't access email for an entire day. And
It's
it was awesome. I actually thank Microsoft.
Thank you. Right. Oh yeah. From the user standpoint, it's been great.
There's
From the
nothing I
IT
can do.
administrator. So
My hands are tied as a user.
So normally that's why they got you an iPad so you could keep working.
Gosh, dang it.
But but no, so normally it goes through the whole process of opting in where you can go download it if you check for updates, you can go get it.
Yeah.
You can go get it for the features if you want it. But then eventually Microsoft puts it into the critical updates phase.
Right.
Where you get it with Windows 10 whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
And if you're not most people you can go in and change it. Being the
You got to go into the
crypto miner.
deep into the settings. Though.
Yeah, being the crypto miner I am running Windows, I have gone in and changed it. You actually have to go in and create a local group policy.
Wait, why did you
To
say
block
local
it.
like that?
Local group policy.
There it is. Okay.
Local. Is that different?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering why you put so much emphasis
because
on that
there's
word.
difference between group policy and local group policy.
Okay, cool.
As far as Windows settings and stuff goes, this
It's
is
pretty
getting
deep.
way out in the weeds.
Yeah, it's pretty in the weeds. You have to make some registry changes, and it's a big pain. And so they have quietly just kind of skipped 1809.
They're like, hey, we're not going to push this out, guys.
They tried patching it. It hit the market as a critical update, and it just started. It actually had a data loss thing. People were losing data initially.
I remember that.
So they pulled it, because you have to realize the scale that they're working on. They push critical updates, and
talking
300 million computers start pulling.
Tens of millions, if not more than 100 million
Start
computers.
pulling the updates. And so they yanked it, and that caused all sorts of issues because things were like, you have an update. Just kidding. We can't find the file. It's not there. And then
Psych,
they tried
peace
to
out.
then they tried to
Thanks for your money.
patch it, and it didn't work. They tried to roll it out again. It didn't work. It was then they were like telling people, hey, roll back support. And so now they've just quietly been like, okay, we're not going to push it through critical updates. We're just going to wait for 1903.
Which is the spring update.
Right? Coming up,
Yeah.
So that's coming up. So it's just been a nightmare. I work in both an Apple and PC environment with my users, and I have had nothing but problems with the 1803. I have a lot of technical users that will try and get the latest and greatest, and then all of a sudden it breaks something, and they're like,
That's the worst.
this is no longer working. I'm like, we'll contact Microsoft.
Yeah. I remember my days on help desk, and we'd get people. It was always, I'm not trying to pick on Apple here, but it was always the Mac users that would run the update as soon as the conference was over where they announced the new version of the OS.
Yep.
And then they'd come down to help desk and say,
That just
well, now
happened to
this
us,
isn't
too."
working.
Yep, just happened with us.
And we would basically look at it and be like, you got to roll back. That version isn't supported yet by our stuff.
And there's nothing worse than a rolled back version of your operating
Oh, yeah.
system. Nothing.
Blowage.
Anyway,
There's nothing worse than that?
nothing is
What
worse
about
than
polio?
no,
Oh, all right.
And the only
because it
reason-
doesn't exist anymore.
Well, it does in Massachusetts, apparently.
Yeah, with anti-vaxxers, that's not so true.
No, Darwin's taking care of that for us.
If we just turn a blind eye for just one generation.
The only reason that didn't really help with, or didn't really do anything with the Windows users was because we usually have group policies built into Windows from our network internally.
You choose which updates they get.
that, limit the update.
That's why it's been mostly home users that have been affected by this. Corporations haven't really said that because most corporations are cautious and they do that.
Not only are they
wait-
cautious, most of them wait like 2 years
Yeah.
before they
push the
push
version update.
OS upgrades.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
Besides security updates.
Besides the security,
Yeah.
Yep. So, who put this God of War news in there?
Hey, I did.
Oh,
Yeah,
did you
yeah.
put any notes in, James?
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry. I didn't have
It's
any
all. It's
time.
all. Yeah, I put a bunch
Didn't
in
have
there.
to
I
call
put
that
a.
out. I was trying to skirt around that.
No, there's
my
zero
bad.
notes here from
Did
James.
you think it?
I
Did
was
you think
put-
it was James because of the acronym that I spelled out?
I
thought-
was trying to put together something super quick because for the last few days I've been trying to put together. I'll have something cool next time because I'm making a smart watering garden,
Uh-huh.
so I can control it from my phone.
Oh, that'll be cool.
They
Yeah.
make a sprinkler app for that. They have a sprinkler system that's automatically does that.
You don't have to make it yourself.
Yeah.
Isn't that what sprinklers do anyway?
No, there's one that connects to your phone and does an app. I've been looking at it in Home Depot. You shouldn't waste your time reinventing the wheel. Anyway, carry on with your cool project though.
Whoa, that was harsh.
Sick burn. He had a really nice compliment to you earlier, though, so now he's neutral, right?
Hey, that's the Jarron way right there.
Does it feel good?
No, it doesn't feel good to make me. It doesn't feel good to do that.
I was pretty sure that this was you that put that. I just wanted to see if
Hold on,
James
what
put
was
it
this-
anything in the notes, so I asked.
I
What's the
see.
smart thing that you're talking about? I'm actually on the Home Depot page right now.
I can't remember the name of it. It's something smart.
Does it measure height of plants?
Why don't you?
No.
Well,
no. This
then
is for
it
water.
doesn't do what
This is for watering.
Why don't you
I,
just
Why are you
I
tracking
wasn't
plant
put in?
interested.
Just type in smart sprinkler into the.
And why are you
search
But
bar.
does
tracking-
it hook into my hose line?
Yes, it uses water from your house because it can't invent that.
Sprinkler controller.
Yeah, see, there's a couple options that
Yep.
it searches.
Well, those
For-
are cheap.
Anyway, they're app controlled.
$60.
They check what they tell you water usage.
Where are you seeing 60
Yeah, where
bucks?
you
These
seeing-
are all like 100.
Scroll down.
Oh, there's a $60
Is
one.
that Alexa?
It's kind of like Alexa,
It's
but not
the cousin.
quite.
That's the
Some dude in their marketing department's like, all right, guys, have you ever heard of SEO? Not really? Perfect.
That's the that's the Kmart version of Alexa.
That's the outdoor.
Alexa, turn on the sprinklers. I don't know what you're saying, James. Oh, sorry.
Alexa.
Alexa, turn on the sprinklers.
That's the version of
You got
Alexa
it.
that you don't bring home to your show to your family.
Yeah, right.
She's the side piece, Alexa.
Yeah. She's the one that always wears short shorts into her 50s.
Anyway.
All right, so
Bunch of smart sprinklers that you can go check
yeah.
out. But
Let's talk-
if you're talking plant height, I don't know why you would measure that, but that's still pretty
why
cool.
does that matter?
He could track growth, like how. So if
I could do that with a camera.
some things you can't do with a smart
I just
sprinkler
want to say
system.
stuff to prove you wrong.
Here's what you need to do: get one that
I want a
constantly
door opener on him.
do this. Create your app that measures pH, soil pH, and soil water content, and plant growth, like the chart over time. Because if you can grow tomatoes or whatever your plants faster by measuring the pH and the water levels, then you've got an app that's worth something.
If you could measure nitrogen content of
Yeah.
the soil too, that'd be really good.
I'm going to get an app that measures infiltration from snakes.
Yeah, you
It's
should
gonna
watch
have a
out
bu-
for
It's going to
that.
have a bunch of holes, so when they go through the hole, when they go through
What are you
the
gonna do when
holes-
you wouldn't even know what to do if you caught a snake or killed it? You're
I'm not
afraid
gonna
of
go
dead
in there.
snakes.
If
He
I
just
know
wants
a
to-
snake goes in, I'm not going out there.
Yeah, that's all he wants to
What
know
if
is
it-
if it's there, he won't leave the house.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Detector. They're cold
Today's
blooded.
a work from home day.
Yeah.
Reason? Snakes.
I've given up my house to the snake that lives in my backyard. It's his now, as is my family. It is
So the video game thing is BAFTA. It's God of War. It's BAFTA.
Yeah.
Bikers against fat teenage aliens.
I don't know if that's what that means.
Prove me wrong.
Isn't it
British.
All right, it's the British,
British
War. It's
arts.
a TV and film.
Yeah,
All right.
British arts. Yeah.
Anyway,
God of War cleaned up, huh?
cleaned up like
as well it deserves.
It kind of just supports what everybody's saying how good of a game that's been all year.
It's so good.
But they cleaned up on like soundtrack, story, art, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Big goose egg. for
That's
them.
okay.
They got nothing coming.
know,
even,
for the
even
people
like
that-
artistic, I thought for sure they'd
the-
get something art out of it. Like
no, dude,
some-
the art in
but-
God of War is so much like more unique.
It's so good.
I'm not. I don't want to knock on. I sound like maybe I'm down on Red Dead 2, and I am as far as I'm concerned. It's not for me. But for the people that are loving it, awesome. Enjoy your game. That's
You know,
cool.
I just
I
can't
think
get
I'm
into the
nothing wrong
monotony.
with that.
I think I'm down on the Metro story because I'm playing it right after I beat God of War.
Oh, dude, that's
So-
that's like going from
Yeah.
like a ribeye steak to a McDonald's burger. There are some really good McDonald's burgers.
I like
Don't get me
it.
wrong, but compared to a ribeye steak,
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was it for God of War. That's pretty neat showing.
I love that
Yeah.
that game.
It made me. I saw that and was like, okay, I'm gonna actually get the game and play it. I haven't taken
have
the
to get a
time.
buy a
PlayStation.
PS4.
I know. I'm talking to the wife about it.
Oh.
Yeah. She said no, absolutely not.
Oh, so
yeah.
if you keep talking to her long enough,
Yeah.
you'll be able to get the PS5
Just
when it
wait.
comes out.
What I'm waiting for is for Crypto to take off. Oh, yeah.
Come on, baby.
It did.
Where's
it did.
my lucky
It
number?
did take off for a minute, and now it's on the decline.
You can borrow mine if you buy a monitor with it.
I don't think I'd do
I
that.
think that's a good trade.
Wait, your PS4 if I buy the monitor?
Yeah. I'll sell him my monitor,
And
and
let
I'll
you
throw in
borrow.
and then
the
I'll throw in a
PS4.
PS4 with it that he
To
can use
borrow.
until he beats God of War.
Jarron, you have tried out your thoroughly your Thrifty 50 for what month? April? Are you the April Thrifty 50?
Yeah,
right? Okay.
April. Yeah.
Let's hear about it.
So I decided to pony up a bit of cash because this item I bought is more than $50, but it's not that expensive. It's called the Caavo.
The thing that adds on most of the money is the subscription, right?
Yeah. So you can
Normally
find
you can find it for what, like $70?
you can find a Caavo right now for $70.
Yeah.
If you want the lifetime subscription, it's an extra $50 generally.
Okay.
Actually, on Caavo's website, they always have a 30% off promo code, it seems like. 'Cause
Nice.
They had one for March Madness,
Oh,
and then
okay.
they just turned that into spring promo code. So you can pick up a lifetime subscription Caavo for $110, which isn't bad.
Okay.
So what the Caavo is, it's a universal remote for your home theater. But
I already got one of those.
it is unlike any universal remote you've ever seen in your life. So you have this HDMI switcher box. You plug in all of your gear into that box and then plug the box into your receiver or TV.
Okay.
I've seen something like this.
So you plug in your Xbox, your PlayStation, your Switch, your Apple TV all into this box, and it will control everything through that box
With one remote?
with one remote. So the remote it comes with is just like this little slab of a thing. It doesn't have... It's not littered with buttons like your Logitech Harmony, but what it does very well. So it uses machine vision to control your device to a degree.
That sounds like Terminator stuff.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Skynet?
Yeah. So I'll get into the machine vision stuff later, but the Caavo, it has Bluetooth, it has HDMI CEC, it also has infrared. So it will control your device via the best method available. So for example, it'll control my Apple TV through Bluetooth because that's the most solid connection. It will control my PlayStation 4 through HDMI CEC, which works great. And it'll control my Xbox through infrared because that's the only way you can control an Xbox, stupid Microsoft.
Is there infrared? Even in the new one?
With a remote controller.
Yeah, with the remote control.
Oh.
But not with your paddles or Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. I was going to say.
So I wish Xbox would open that up. Microsoft would open that up. Anyway, so the Caavo, you think it sounds janky, but it is not janky. It does everything perfectly. And the coolest thing about the Caavo is it's context aware. So you're watching your Apple TV, you press the PlayStation button on your controller. It'll automatically switch to the PlayStation, which is normal because it does that through CEC, even if you don't have a Caavo. But what makes the Caavo cool, though, at this point, if you had a Logitech remote, you normally would have to switch modes on the Logitech remote to control the PlayStation. The Caavo already knows you're on the PlayStation input, so you don't even have to switch inputs on the remote. You can just pick up the Caavo remote and control it.
That's
through
Skynet
there.
right there.
It's awesome.
I submit.
Yes.
I, for one, welcome our artificial intelligence overlords.
But-
Skynet was great, except for the homicidal tendencies to protect
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, they'll be more efficient than us.
They just cared so much.
It's rock solid though. It controls everything seamlessly. Unlike the Harmony, where you have to program every single button pretty much.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain.
The Caavo would do that automatically, so you don't have to program any buttons. The downside to that, though, if you want to have some weird, obscure function on a particular button on your remote, you can't really control that.
like
you can't
like
really program
what?
it.
What would you consider a weird, obscure?
For example, on my receiver, sometimes the sound,
You painted me a picture. I feel like I'm there.
yeah. The word has left my brain. It hath left my
The
brain.
whoozy whatsy.
Yeah. So if you want to switch sound modes on your receiver, like if something gets messed up, you switch it from like Dolby 5.1
DTS or
to
something.
DTS. You can't do that. You'd have to pull out your old remote.
Okay.
So the Caavo won't do that. You can't plug in like your weird obscure receiver buttons that you may need once every couple weeks. But other than that, it's perfect. It's awesome. Another thing the Caavo does, it has a voice search function.
Does it work good?
It works really well. It works really well. That's the only kind of kludgy part of it all, because it has this interface that overlays on top of whatever your input is. So you can just say, watch Walking with the Dinosaurs. I don't know why I chose that. And it'll...
Is that a real program?
Yeah.
By Planet Earth?
It's
for kids.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a horrible Disney movie in like the year 2000.
Oh, I have it. It's really bad. My kids love it.
Yeah, and by the way, your copy is like 240p. It's horrible.
It's bad. It's not great.
Yeah, it gives me a
I
headache.
like how you just like
watching
own it. Yeah,
It's really not great.
It's terrible.
Especially if you put it on a giant screen.
Yeah. Anyway, so it'll come up with their own interface, and then through machine vision, it will pull up the whatever app you want to have your default be. So it'll pull up like the iTunes app on your Apple TV. It'll automatically go to it through the machine vision, and it'll type in Walking with the Dinosaurs, pull it up, hit play, and do everything. It works.
I thought you said it was kludgy, though.
It is. I mean, it's an interface on top of another interface, and that's why it's kludgy.
Oh, but it does work.
But it does work, and it works well. So I give the Caavo a 9 out of 10.
Wow,
That's
that
pretty
is
cool.
a glowing recommendation.
Did you
Yeah.
get the
9 out of 10,
the
geez.
subscription? The
I did.
lifetime?
Yeah, I got the lifetime
Oh,
subscription.
nice.
You need the subscription if you want to do like the voice search stuff. So if you don't plan on doing that, you don't necessarily.
That's
need
what lets it go out to their machine learning and decipher and do the code, like the voice learning and stuff like
Yeah.
My question is, how often do you actually use Siri on your phone?
Siri
Yeah.
on my phone.
Yeah. So like with the voice activation, like how often
I
do you...
I used it quite a bit on the Apple TV, like watch whatever random movie, because if you have a lot of movies, it's a pain to go through the big list.
I like it for search on my Apple TV
Really?
because typing it on that terrible interface to try and type a word out when you're searching on your Apple TV. I mean, like anytime you try to type a word with a remote, it's garbage.
If you have an Apple TV, can you use your phone as a remote?
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
And you still can if you have the Caavo.
Infrared?
Yeah, he mentioned
IR.
that way back in
Oh,
the...
yeah.
Yeah.
IR.
It does IR. It does Bluetooth.
IR blaster. Just saying, it's
All
back in the
right.
show.
Very
It's back in the
I see
show.
it.
Very excited for this.
I'm breathing it back to life.
Anyway, I like it better than the Harmony. So much better. It's solid. I don't have to charge the battery every 5 days like I had to with my Color Harmony remote color screen.
How does it communicate with with their servers? Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi or Ethernet.
Oh, okay.
I have Ethernet plugged into it. So
Cool.
Caavo, Caavo. I fully recommend
I
it.
might have to take a peek at that.
It's awesome.
one of these days.
You can play with mine afterwards.
Nah.
Hey. So
Ah.
I believe we mentioned this in the last episode. NVIDIA unlocked ray tracing for most of the 10 series GTX cards.
Oh, cool.
However, nobody...
How underpowered is it though?
That's the thing is they unlocked it and they admitted right out the gate. They said it's not going to work so great in a lot of instances. And so
as they're walking away, don't count on anything.
kind of, yeah, they're basically like saying we unlocked this so you could see what it's like.
1080p though is not bad on a
So-
1080 Ti.
Yeah, so Digital Foundry has released a video about 25 minutes long that compares performance on the RTX cards and the high end and at least one low end GTX 10 series card. And it's very interesting. I mean, it's a kind of a long watch. It's 25 minutes, but it goes into a lot of good details about what you could actually get out of a 10 series card for ray tracing, or if you're just going to want to upgrade to a 20 series card. The short version is basically in most of the games, in anything above 1080p, you're going to want an RTX
They're
card.
just like dealers. They're just like, hey, give them a
Well,
taste.
that's exactly.
Give 'em a taste.
That's exactly.
Then they'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, I wish this just worked better, and they're going to go for the 20 series.
It's a
That's what it
sneak
is for
preview.
sure. Because you can get it to work, you just can't get the high enough frame rates to make it good
Right.
on most of the stuff. And so you see it, and you're like, man, this looks really good. Oh, I guess I should upgrade. It is exactly what it is. And you know what? That's fine. It seems a little dirty, but I don't think it's that big of a deal because on the other hand, it's also going to give developers an opportunity to try and get ray tracing working on lower end stuff, which means you're going to see it either A, work on lower end stuff, or B, run even better on an RTX card because they can get it working on lower end stuff.
And devs will have the opportunity to go to their studios and be like, look, can I throw in some ray tracing code in here because it works on these cards now that.
And what a lot of people don't understand is it's not just on or off, despite how it was presented the first and second time they debuted it. There's varying levels of ray tracing, and as Jarron mentioned earlier in the episode, you have various kinds of ray tracing that they can implement: global illumination, reflections, shadows, etc. And so they can implement something minor that might have a pretty good impact on how things look, but it might not be as costly on the hardware side, which could open the door to maybe ray tracing in consoles. Because they go with AMD, and it's already basically locked in that the next-gen consoles, next-gen Xbox, next-gen PlayStation is going to be an AMD-based console again. And if devs can figure out how to make some of the ray tracing work good on the older style graphics cards.
Well, Crytek has claimed that they've done it.
So Crytek is, they showed off, we talked about it, I think, 2 episodes ago, on a Vega 56 4K 30, and it looked really good.
It looked dang good.
Now, I think that was definitely a heavily modified version of ray tracing. It wasn't like the pure stuff that you see in...
It's perfect for consoles, though, because that's all a console is.
Exactly.
Right? Heavily modified hardware to make it do a specific thing.
What it's going to require is more work on the artistic end.
Right.
Versus with just kind of enabling it on the NVIDIA cards. But, if the developer's up for putting that extra time into it to enable it and then add the art that makes it look really good, I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty exciting stuff. Some people see it as kind of underhanded of AMD to give people a taste in the 10 series, but I think
it's one of those, why can't it be both? It's both. I think they are doing it.
Yeah.
You can't say that.
And it shows too really well on this video that we linked to, like how many frames per second you get on a 1080 Ti versus how many you get on like a 2060 or a 2070, the lower end 20 series cards, and actually shows there is a huge difference when you have the dedicated hardware to run those computations versus trying to force it through software rendering. So it's really interesting. I recommend giving it a look.
One thing that I think is kind of interesting, did you see this last week that Amazon accidentally listed 2080s? If I'm not mistaken, on Amazon for $700.
A 2080?
Yeah.
That's normal.
That's about right.
What?
Yeah.
If it was a 2080 Ti for $700 or $800, that'd have been crazy.
Oh, never mind.
That's okay.
Just keep going, James. Keep at it.
We've also got some space news. I put this on here before Owen did because I'm sure Owen was going to put it on the notes. We have a real life picture of a black hole now.
Yeah, we do.
Which is
to me, it means it looks like something different to everybody. What do you guys think it looks like?
a black hole.
A black hole. It's
I
kind of
think
what I
it
always envisioned it to be like.
Yeah.
I think it looks like the black hole from Interstellar, just a lot more zoomed out and blurry.
To me, it kind of looks like the Eye of Saruman.
Sauron.
Or like that.
Keep at it, James.
Saruman.
You'll get it someday.
The white wizard.
The thing with black hole pictures up until this point is they were all just like artist renditions kind of a thing, simulated
Based on theory.
But this is an actual photograph taken by radio telescopes. And what's really interesting is the way they got this photograph is they linked up like 4 different radio telescope sites around the world, and they had to take 8, and they had to take into account things like the rotation of the Earth and all this kind of stuff, and they were able to take petabytes of information from these radio telescopes and use AI and supercomputers to
piece it together
into an actual picture.
And they slammed it together, and they identify it by what's not there.
That's the thing.
That's how they identify the black hole.
Exactly.
Because it's by what's not, what you can't see.
There's a joke in there somewhere about a life.
Yeah.
A black hole has been thought to be non-photographical because it is basically a place in space that sucks in everything, including light. And the way you get a photograph of something is it's the reflection of light off of the surface of whatever you're taking a picture of. So how do you photograph something that light can't escape from?
Which is kind of funny because if you think about it, like a black hole, when I thought about it, black holes are spherical, right?
They are.
Yeah.
Or at least theoretically.
They are.
Yeah,
Can
they
you
are.
imagine once you get past the event horizon in a black hole, how bright a black hole on the inside has to be? If you really think
I
about
have no
it,
idea.
'cause
Maybe
it sucks in light,
This
and
is
the light
hurting-
has to go
it's
somewhere.
hurting my brain.
Yeah, that is.
But if you think about it, once you get past,
Oh,
The
you'd be
lip.
dead.
because
For
light
sure.
goes in, but it doesn't go out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
Where does it go?
Yeah, where does it go?
Does it just compress into
No,
the tiniest point?
It goes.
the middle
it
of it?
goes to the closet in your house, in the middle of a
Oh.
cornfield, and you get to tell your daughter you love her.
yeah,
Right.
the fourth dimension.
That was
actually.
Interstellar.
Point fact.
You use black holes
Time travel.
to travel through time, but also learn that the most powerful force in the universe is love.
I love that movie. I don't care what you say.
I really, really liked that movie
I mean,
until it got to the point where I was like, oh, it's love.
Well, and I guess
That's that story to Harry Potter too.
Yeah, lame.
Well, and I guess they lucked out because this black hole is currently devouring a star.
Yeah.
Which is what makes the accretion disk is that
Right.
the ring around of
So-
the black hole is spinning, right?
Yeah.
And so as it eats a star, the particles of light
Gobble.
they spin around and they create that accretion disk is what we can see in the picture.
Yeah, what you're seeing is light right up to the event horizon.
Yep, before it
So,
passes.
Very interesting.
That's not my space news, though. I did put some space news in there. I thought you were stealing my space news, which is much more exciting than the dumb old black hole.
What?
Yeah.
Black holes are
No,
fascinating.
this has to do with David
Black holes are
Copperfield.
terrifying.
Oh well, I wanted to mention real quick as well that SpaceX successfully launched and landed all 3 Falcon Heavy
They're
boosters.
big
last
ones,
week.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the big one fell into sea
Oh, it did?
after it landed.
No
It
way!
tipped?
I didn't know that.
It was rough at sea and it tipped and fell into the ocean.
So now they don't have it?
landed.
Now they don't
Yay!
have, but they did land it.
So
It
it is.
tipped over.
It's doable.
Oh.
Weather ruined the after.
Yeah.
though.
Right.
Yeah.
They just
Ruined
need
it
to
after.
make some personal flotation devices. Stick some floaties on that thing.
Some floaties on there.
Is it
Pop,
just because
pop,
of
pop,
the
it comes
the
floating back to the
waves?
top.
They're just
I have
on
a nice
turbulent
I have a
water?
nice flamingo floaty for my
Yeah.
daughter. I'll just
I
give
think
it to
they
Elon.
should do that.
Yeah.
Get a big water weenie.
It should just be shaped like the astronaut he has in his car, just something that pops out and just floats to the surface.
I'm still a little confused, and maybe you guys know this. Why are they so obsessed with landing it on barges out at sea? Why not just land it on
they
land?
have. I think because they have to. Well, because
Because
the
if it
danger
messes
of
up-
the danger of catastrophic failure for a crash on land.
There's
is-
so much empty land where they could do it, though.
No, I think they're thinking of like if the booster crashes on land, you have an explosion.
and nothing
Versus
recoverable.
on water, at
Maybe
least-
something
Yeah,
recoverable?
maybe something.
Yeah, maybe.
And I think it depends on where they launch to.
They have to launch over Cape Canaveral. A couple
Well,
other
that's
places.
true. That's
that they have to-
mostly ocean
Yeah.
around that, obviously.
Is there
so.
a reason why? Is it weather down there? That's the reason why they do
I
it,
think
or is it like
closer to the
regulations?
equator? Has to do something with the equator.
Let's
Being,
just launch out of Mexico.
but yeah,
That's
Is that about the same longitude as the Houston,
yeah,
where they launch rockets out of?
pretty close, right? The
I don't
southern
know.
tip. I
They
just
launch.
I once upon a time asked the same thing. Why do they always have to launch from Florida or from Houston?
I feel like they just had a bunch of land surrounded by an ocean at some point that they were just like, this is a good spot.
We got to do something in Florida besides scam people.
And Disneyland,
Oh yeah.
or Disney World, which is also a scam.
Just a heads up. Apparently,
They've got Star Wars now, so it's a worth it scam for me.
I love you, Disney.
please don't take away my credentials. I want your app.
Please.
Apparently, my Wise Sense got pushed back a month. It's now coming in May 2019.
Ah,
Your
well,
wise sense.
Yeah.
We expect a full review of it.
Yeah, I get 2 door sensors. Well, I ordered
Oh.
2 of them, so I get 4 door sensors and a motion sensor.
Nice.
All right, what's your space news?
David Copperfield. Anybody want to know how to do his magic? Come on,
Yeah.
I guess.
go to the moon.
Is that where?
That's where it's crash
is?
landed at.
What?
So
his
Israel-
stuff was on Israel's
Israel-
lunar.
So
Probe?
they were sending a library to space. They had a digital library, like
How
a
big?
history. It was pretty
Like an SD
fairly
card?
fairly large. No,
Oh, yeah.
they had these
200
specially.
gig?
They had these specially. It was actually just some other composite that stored data.
Uh-huh.
They didn't talk about what it was made out of, but it was something new, not CDs, but about the same size. They said.
Compact disc.
And engine failed about 10,000 feet up from
Yeah.
those guys, and so it impacted the moon, going about 2,000 miles an hour.
Not very
but
fast.
Did it have airbags?
no,
Oh.
no, it's scattered. They said it's scattered. There's
Darn.
a debris field.
Oh,
But they
geez.
said that the library itself was designed to withstand any type of like impact or the destruction of the craft. So
Cool.
David Copperfield wanted to. There was the story about it is that he watched a movie. I can't remember the guy's name, but he talked about space travel to the moon, and that ignited the imagination of scientists. And then in like 30 or 40 years later, we actually went to the moon. And a lot of people credit like our interest and like, can that actually happen to this, art thing, life imitating art.
So is that the new artist thing? Is I'm going to create something and send it to the moon? Am I going to find a Banksy on the moon in a couple of years?
Who knows? But
you can find one of Elon Musk's cars floating through the solar system.
And he added all of how to do his tricks. All the stuff,
really?
all the crazy stuff, and he's like, not these old gimmicks either. Like they were like not old magic stuff that's pretty well known in the community, but like his specific stuff, you could go find on there.
Well, now you can't.
No, they said it probably survived.
Really?
Mm-hmm. The data probably survived because it was meant to survive some sort of strike or catastrophic event because it's meant to be like a beacon to anybody that lands there in the future. Like aliens or whatever. I don't know.
Like the feelings that he would give people that came to watch his show in real life in Vegas.
And they were like, what are these bozo humans? Magic? What is this? Illusion?
Why did they put this on the
Actually, they're probably like, you know what? These people are clever and they deserve warp travel capability. Let's give it to them.
Yeah, right. Millions of years from now when none of us are here anymore and there's aliens that are finally finding our planet, they're going to think we're so freaking weird.
Can you imagine that?
Is this a car in outer space with like a...
you're just describing the storyline to AI by Steven Spielberg. Right?
Who knows if we're not already? Who knows if we haven't just because of moon dust collection? If we dig down on the moon, we're gonna find the past civilization before ours,
and then
we're gonna find their David Copperfield stuff,
and then we're gonna worship him.
Anyway,
we're gonna put on emerald necklaces.
Did you never watch AI?
No,
that was a good movie.
Isn't that the one with Frankie Joe Osmond?
You mean Haley Joel Osment?
I said it wrong on purpose.
Stand by what I said.
You'll get it, James.
Dude, that guy looks weird now. Have you seen him lately?
Oh man, he was so good in what was the show that he was just on Hulu? It was season 2. Future Man. Yeah, Future Man.
Oh, Future Man is where like good ideas in a sitcom go to die. Dude, he looks like if the Hamburglar was an actual person, that's what he would look like, man. He looks like a combination
Except he's got a beard now.
Yeah, it's weird. He's supposed to stay 10.
I thought he was great in Future Man. I love Future Man. I'm excited for season 3.
Future Man's weird.
I hope it gets to season 3.
I have the answer for why they launch at sea level.
Oh, why?
It's actually the equator. They try to get as close to the equator as possible because
the
rotational velocity is less at the equator than it is at higher latitudes.
Oh.
And so you need less speed to get into orbit.
That makes sense.
That's why I can't fly a kite in Utah.
So you don't need as much fuel to get into orbit.
Interesting.
Makes sense.
Well, learn something. There you go.
I knew it had something to do with the equator.
Good job, Owen.
Pretty dang close. It was
Owen got it.
I just didn't take the time to go re-Google it.
This is why I'm planting a garden in my backyard.
Yeah.
I think we've just about run out of time. Is there anything else you guys want to hit real quick before we go? What?
The Adventures with a Common Email Address.
Okay.
This is pretty good.
I read through this and I felt strange afterwards.
Let me give you context. So years ago when Outlook.com first appeared, I hopped on, got my wife Olivia at Outlook.com. And I don't care that I say this because she's never used it and never will. For the following reason, I opened it up today. It has 33,000 unread messages.
Holy cow.
Even though she hasn't used it once. And part of that reason is because people just use that email address pretending it's their own. I've seen orders from Staples.com for Olivia something in Missouri.
Awesome.
I have her address. I have her home address because I don't know why she used that email address, but she did. I get a ton of random pictures in that inbox of people.
Any good ones?
What kind of pictures?
Air quotes?
Nothing good in air quotes.
Lame.
I get some messages. For example, here's one. If you are wondering who this is, it's Elena Young on my phone. Izzy's old one. Just wanted to let you know. Lol.
Hey,
that's the end.
All right.
Yeah.
Lol.
Glad there was a lull in there.
And I stumbled onto this awesome message that somebody sent me. Or my wife. Anyway,
or someone that they thought had that email address.
This is just an AI. It's an AI learning.
I think it is
address.
We're now seeing.
I don't think so because they say Liv, because Liv is a nickname for Olivia, and I don't know if AI is that smart yet. But anyway,
learning to love.
Hi Liv, no signal to text you. I'm waiting to go down, but not got my sexy paper pants and bra on yet.
Oh, snap.
Taking it to sex
Wait, keep going. This is the one that made me feel weird.
Got a private room with shower, 32 inches TV, came around with menu, so if all okay, I'll be having soup and tuna roll.
That's the part that got me. Soup and tuna roll. Who does that? That makes me feel weird.
Soup and sushi.
Weird. Yeah.
Busy right now, of course. Speak soon, X.
I like how it says, of course. Like,
This is like
Cool.
a scandalous
I
meeting
know. It felt
right
like
here.
I was peering into someone's life going through this email inbox.
are you sure Olivia doesn't use this?
Oh, yeah, I'm positive.
Oh.
Did you
Ooh,
go?
maybe-
Did you
maybe-
go through? Maybe she does.
I had to go through like...
Did you go through all 33,000 of these emails? Slow day at work, huh?
I only went through like 2 months, and that's what I found in only
When
2
you
months.
reach a
that's
certain
funny.
level of your job, nobody checks up on you anymore.
But I had to unlock the account because people keep on trying to log into it to steal it. But yeah, so if you ever wanted an email address with just your first name, it's really not all that it's cracked up to me.
I was able to snag my first and last name at Outlook.com, but I hadn't opened it probably in 18 months. I only had 42 emails.
Yeah,
No, I'm not as popular as Olivia.
33,000.
33,000. That's
Beat
a lot.
that.
That's
I mean,
a lot.
most of it
So
is
many.
junk mail, but
Sure.
I waded through the non-junk mail and found some gold.
That's crazy.
so many.
That's pretty funny.
I only have one last thing.
What's that?
It's since it's vacation season coming up, people are getting ready for spring vacation, summer vacations, whatever. So, if you heard of the Spyfinder Pro,
No.
have you heard of it, James? I would
I've
think
heard
you,
of it. What does it do again?
It's you look through it. I linked it, but
it's the camera thing,
you look
right?
through it and it identifies hidden cameras.
Dude,
Are you
I
sure
want to
this
get one of
isn't-
those for 3050 so bad because I stay in so many Airbnbs.
Are you sure this isn't like X-ray goggles, X-ray glasses you could buy
It-
at the back of-
$250.
That's exactly right. It's
Oh,
$250. It's so
man.
expensive. So, James, we're gonna have to put in a little extra money. But you can go buy it right now, James.
It could be your 50-50 for
So-
the next 5
if
times.
people choose to watch me like that, it's
So,
up to them.
I've done VRBO. I've done a couple Airbnbs. I don't do a ton of it, but I've
Wait,
always
did you
done
say
that.
VRBO?
V like
Oh.
Victor.
I thought it was Verbo.
Verbo, whatever. I call it VRBO because it's a dang acronym. But
That's why you say Verbo.
okay, I guess I'm doing it wrong.
I like how you had to compose yourself right
He's
there.
like, don't punch him. Don't punch him.
But it's $250, but it somehow reads the infrared, the IR, off the
okay.
lenses
All right.
of the cameras. So you look through it,
It makes
through
that
this
little light
device,
shine back at you.
and you look through this device, and they shine whatever the cameras are. And I thought, oh, that's a cool.
There's got to be a cheaper way to do
Oh,
one of those.
yeah. They're milking it.
There definitely is, which is downloading network sniffing tools and just
Yeah.
looking for devices. So I saw that, I put it out there, and I was like, oh, that'll be funny to talk about. Oh, okay, that's way more expensive than a Thrifty 50, and I'm never going to do that. But then I was reading on ARS Technica, and there's
It's just Ars Technica.
Ars. It's a friggin' acronym.
No, it's not.
Ars.
What does it
ARS.
stand for?
I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Did you
But
really say ARS?
But ours is not a. Let's look it up.
so stupid.
Come on,
It's
let's
ours.
ours. What?
If it was Ars Technica, it'd probably be capital A, capital R.
I'm so glad
just
they're
saying.
making fun of you right now, buddy.
I'm gonna prove them wrong.
Oh, let's see it. What do you got? What do you got?
I'll find it out.
Anything?
I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Anyway,
do it live right now.
I don't want
it's really
to.
good radio.
Really bad radio. Anyway,
what'd
so
they
that on
say
Ars Technica.
what'd they
Sorry,
say on
I'm
Ars Technica?
an ARS Technica. Ars Technica. You guys are.
Show's
hurting.
over.
It's hurt now. Anyway, this guy found a camera. These guys at a
At an Airbnb.
Airbnb, and the way they did is they used network
It's
sniffing tools.
Airbnb.
Dude, the joke's over. I'll be hurting for weeks. Are you happy? Moments, actually. As soon as I get in my car and head towards food, I'm going to forget all about you.
Except he's meeting us there.
I'm gonna forget all about it.
This was my idea, you know.
Anyway, but anyway, so he found it using, and I was like, oh, that's what I would do, because I have lots of network sniffing tools. But he just ran a network scan and found this camera, which is illegal. Airbnb has a whole bunch. You have to disclose hidden cameras in your house if you're renting it out.
So how would you know though if it's a hidden camera versus like maybe an outside camera? You just have to kind of
You just hop onto it, really.
assume.
So he did a port scan, or he did a network scan, like just an IP scan to see which was alive on
Right.
the network. So a smart person using an Airbnb would have a guest Wi-Fi, right? That's not linked to or not pingable or not allowable onto their home network, and then thus hiding their video camera.
Way to give him the sneaky idea.
Anyway, but then he just did a scanner, found a device, and then he did a port scanner. He saw that port 80 was open on it, and he was like, "Oh, well, I'm going to put that into my web browser because port 80 is a web port."
Yeah.
And pop up comes their living room
He
where
just put
they're
the
all
IP into his browser.
with port 80, and there it was. Anyway, so don't get the Spyfinder Pro unless you do, and then tell us how it works because it sounds rad. It's way too expensive.
Yeah, there's no reason not to get it. It's just expensive.
Yeah, if you've got extra schmeckles, please send us one. Tony specifically so that he can let me play with it.
It's just,
Or go look it up on our ARS Technica.
cut out the middleman. Just email
I did
Owen
that. I
about
did that
it.
to get you, Jarron.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
All right, cool. I think we're all done then. I think we're done.
I've never seen Owen get that put off before, where he had to stop and collect himself.
It's all right.
I got a small glimpse into your work life right there. Like when you get a really stupid question, you got that face as if you smelled something really bad. Just it's fine.
Don't swear. Don't swear.
I feel a lot of your life is that. Have you seen that meme of the dog sitting in the chair?
This is fine.
Everything's fine.
This is fine.
Everything's like
I have that printed out in my office.
I have the
I
stuffed
don't
animal
doubt
of it.
This is fine.
Twyman gave me a stuffed animal of it.
Yep.
It's so good. All right, we're all done. Thanks for listening to the end. If you made it to the end, if you didn't make it to the end, you don't know that I'm talking to you. Owen, why don't you take us out?
Hey, we hope you care.
Gadget Spot.